Hi everyone and welcome to another Crafter's Castle Challenge. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make a romantic mixed media greeting card. For today's project we're going to be using the Passport to Paris by Tailor Made For You cards. So here I have the Passport to Paris kit. This comes in an 8.5 by 11 digital printout, and that's exactly how I printed it. So these are actual size as they would come initially in your package. There are several different pieces here. There's lots of ephemera, there's digital print for pattern paper, things of that nature. Now let's go ahead and kind of start looking at these so you can get an idea of some of the items that you can possibly make, because these are very, very beautiful. They have a lot of light print and blues, peaches. I love the colors that came with this particular piece. Let's go ahead and have a closer look at some of these items. They are really lovely. I have a helium cipher here, a ticket. You also have a cafe check. You have a little map here, and I can't really read what the map is of, but you have two little passports, a ticket with, it looks like a runway model from the 1920s. You have a carte postale. You have two stamps, and they're absolutely lovely. There's also this tag, I guess for your luggage, a picture of the Eiffel Tower, and I absolutely love that, and I guess that's where all the colors came from. Then you have your printed paper. So this one here is going to be the base of my card, since that's what I'm going to be making today. You can see that it has a lovely brickwork pattern in the background. You have some roses on the corner, and that kind of fell through with these other pattern papers. You have a newspaper print, and then you have this beautiful watercolor print, and it has hand font, a handwritten hand font to it. And here's a closer look at the newspaper print. Those are the half sheets, and then this comes printed out as 4 to a sheet of 8.5 by 11. So I'm going to be utilizing the larger pieces mostly, and I'll go ahead and get working. So here I have a 5.5 by 7 card base, and on this I cut out a cream colored 5.5 by 7 piece of cardstock. This is going to act as my background for this whole entire piece, just because the printout that has the Paris font is just slightly smaller than that. So it's going to kind of be peeking out from the back, and I wanted to keep those rich cream colors that are on this particular pattern and set just there. And as you can see, it has about, maybe I'd say about 1/8 of an inch kind of peeking out there. So I'm going to go ahead and start by setting this down. So the look that I'm going for here is more of a romantic grunge. I guess if that's a style, this is what I would call it. So I know what you're thinking. Okay, why is she tearing out this paper? Well, again, I want it to be more distressed. I want it to look weathered. So that's where this is coming in. And as you can see, I'm going to have quite a bit of that white paper or that cream paper kind of popping out from the back. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come and use a pair of scissors to distress the edges of that torn section. This will create some rolling. It will also create more of a fray to it. And here you can see I'm just going to go ahead and roll that between my fingers to create more of a rolled edge there on that corner. And that's an easy way to kind of make those rolled edges if the scissor doesn't do it for you. So let me go ahead and kind of fast forward through this, and just so you can see what the end product will look like. Now once I have this set, I'm going to go ahead and start figuring out my layout for this and what I want to use for this particular card. Now here I have, it's about 4 4.25 by 5.5, but this is what I'm going to use kind of peeking out in the background there. And look at how lovely that looks up against that frayed edge that I have. So to bring in a little bit more color, I have Stormy Sky that I'm bringing in order to add to this Paris print. I want to add color to the edges to make it pop out up against that newspaper print that I have in the background. By adding this color, I'm now creating a more defined divide between my other works of art, and also bringing out that same color throughout the whole entire sheet that's there, because it does have the same matching color. Now, I also continued this throughout the whole entire edging of my work. Next, I'm going to bring in this coffee stain or splatter stain from Tim Holtz. This is one of the stencils that I have recently acquired, and I like the look of it. I'm going to be using this on the newspaper print to bring in kind of this coffee stain or splotch stained look. And the reason that I thought of this is because whenever I think of reading the newspaper in the morning, for whatever reason, growing up, there were always coffee stains all over it. Of course, drinking coffee and reading the newspaper was just something that kind of went together. So what I'm doing is I am using vintage photo to bring in more of a weathered look to this. And I'm sorry for the tremors on the camera. It's just me working. I am truly sorry. But this is going to bring in quite a bit of character to this paper. And by utilizing the dye ink instead of a distress oxide, it will allow those layers to darken up the more ink that I put onto it. Now I'm going to line this up with my backing, just because I want to make sure the look that I'm going for is kind of pulling through, and see if I need to add anything else. Look at how beautiful that actually looks. Now I think I want to add just a little bit more color to this. The layout looks fine. I think this is perfect, but this blank piece here, I think just needs to have a little bit more of this peach color. So I am going to get dried marigold distress oxide. And this particular color is more of a peachy color. Here it is. And as you can see, it's more peachy. I'm just gonna go around the edges and add some color. Now, once I finish this up, I'm gonna come back in with some of this vintage photo. As you can see, it is a very light peach. Again, I wanna go a little bit darker, so I'm gonna add some color here and there that you can see, and look at the difference in the color. Just very subtle, but it is enough for me to see and break up that peach and the darker peach. All right, I'm now ready to kind of set my layout here, and I think I want it slightly askew just because it gives it more interest, more different character to this. And you have a lot of that cream paper also popping out in the back. So I am going to lay this out exactly like this is. Now, typically I would lift my paper off and add glue to the back, but I'm gonna go ahead and trim this out first. The way that I have it, I'm just holding it in place by hand. Once I have this trimmed, then I will go ahead and start gluing it down. Again, for this, I'm keeping it exactly where it is. I don't want it to actually move, even though it slightly did. I'm gonna get it right back into place and glue that down. I want it to have a little bit of that peeking out in the corner, so I moved it a little bit further off, so it has about maybe 1/8 of an inch kind of peeking out around the edges. All right, I now have this ready to glue down, and I am holding it down in place as I add my glue, so that way I will work one side, then I will lift the other side and add glue there. Now, typically I don't necessarily work my glue this way, but I don't want the paper to move from where I have it set. So this is the easiest way to actually do this. Now, it did take me a little bit of time to open up my bottle for glue. This is a Barely Arts glue, and to be honest, I really enjoy using it compared to most other glues. So it does get clogged from time to time because of the fine nib, but that's fine. All right, so you can see I have a perfect little edging there, and it just, I mean, I love how it turned out. Let me go ahead and figure out where I want this to lay down. I don't want it too far off, and I think that I might just set it perfectly this way. Now it's just a matter of holding down my pieces and just kind of trimming them out. But I do think that this is perfect. I'm not too concerned about the edge showing on this portion, just because the brown paper on the newspaper print kind of detracts a little bit. So that's why I wanted that break to show. But here it's fine. I'm just going to come up and trim off the excess. Now here, I'm just going to follow the same pattern or the same process that I did before. I did shift it over just a little bit to add a little bit of that corner kind of peeking out, or the edging. Not too much though. All right, so now here I have some gold ink, and look at how pretty that shine is. I'm going to use this on my card. I want it to have a little bit of interest and a little bit of a gold fleck look. So I'm coming in with a little fan brush, and this is used for splattering. So I'm just going to tap that on there and add some color there. Here's a closer look at all that beautiful splatter. Now I'm going to go ahead and continue working as it's wet. I don't mind smudges, because this is the whole thing about this type of card or this type of process is the grunge. Now here I have a beautiful piece of gold foil that I received as a part of a chocolate that I had. Of course I ate the chocolate, but look at these little Santa Claus that kind of come with it. But I was so interested in the gold foil, I'm going to utilize this to make my card. What I'm going to do is I'm simply going to tear off pieces and just lay them about the card. I've picked some smaller pieces just so that way it doesn't overpower the card, but you can see already the beauty that comes with this gold foil. And then a larger piece here in the corner. And let's take a closer look so you can kind of see what this is looking like. I know you can see it, but look at the shine that you get with that. And then you have all that gold ink there on the background. So let's go ahead and adhere this down to our card base. Okay, so I'm coming back in with some acrylic glue from Cosmic Shimmer. Now, this is my first time utilizing this, and I'm kind of excited to see how this is going to work. I'm going to lay this right across the bottom because I am going to adhere down some crinkle binding. With the crinkle binding, and here I have a peach and a blue, I'm going to kind of weave this, I guess, kind of twist it or intertwine it between each other. I don't want it to be two colors kind of laying next to each other, so I'm just kind of rotating that and then adhering them down onto the glue. And I think this is about right. Now, just to let you know, this glue actually works very well. It's pretty much set. Now I just want to press it down and it's good to go. Now I need to add some roses. Here I have some white foam roses, some blue paper roses, and then I have little peach paper roses. I'm going to go ahead and utilize these on the card because there's a little corner here that's on the lower right that just seems kind of bare. You have the Eiffel Tower with some roses on that side, and you have that color kind of pulling through, and then you have this side to the right that just doesn't have much. So I'm going to go ahead and add some roses. You can utilize the glue gun if you'd like. I simply used my Bearly Arts glue because I figured that it's paper, it'll work, it'll stick. Now it does just take a little bit of pressure to make sure that it holds though. I also added a small cluster to the left side of the card. I've got to keep the balance. Okay, so here I found a little medallion that I received as part of a trade, and it's a little cute girl. It looks kind of like a little gorgeous stamp. I'm going to use that with some acrylic glue and add that to my card. Again, acrylic glue is actually pretty neat because it can adhere to metals and other items directly to paper, and it's perfect especially for mixed media. Okay, before I add my Eiffel Tower, I want to add some crystals because I want to lay them out somewhere on the card. Now these crystals I had purchased a long time ago and I found them recently, and look at how pretty they are, and they have this little yellow kind of to draw on that gold play that I have going on the card, but also adds quite a bit of sparkle. So I'm coming back in with my acrylic glue and just popping those on there. All right, now that I have everything kind of where I want it, now I just need to add my Eiffel Tower. But I do want to distress this a little bit as well. I don't want it just to be sitting there plain. I want it to have more of a weathered look and not so neat. It needs to match my card. I feel that it's important that that follow through kind of goes throughout the whole entire thing. I'm also going to roll the edges a little bit here and there just to give it, again, another weathered look to it. And then just also color the back of that roll with the ink. That'll make it look very neat and just kind of stand out there. Here's a look at my Eiffel Tower all ready to get put down. Now, as you can see on the back of my picture, I have some of the other ephemera that I had printed out in error. It didn't print the way that I wanted, so I reused my paper. Nobody's gonna see it anyways, and there you go. Voila, it's perfect. So as a final touch to this card, I want to work something on the inside of the card. I don't want the inside just to be blank, and utilizing these torn pieces of paper, I can actually add a decorative look to the inside as well. I have this torn piece that I used previously and or I took off from the Paris print, and now creating another one so that it has this rose on the bottom edge. So that will be something that I utilize for the inside of my card. Again, I'm just going to go through and distress these. I'm now ready to add these to the inside of my card. All I'm going to do is simply take some glue and just lay them out. Now, what I did for this is I had already kind of pre-laid them out based off of what I had as I was distressing. I do want to leave a little bit of an edge, so about a 1/4 inch from the top and the side here. And this will help, you know, kind of give this a little bit of space for you to write a sentiment or some type of greeting inside, as well as add a decorative touch. Now imagine this being handwritten in with a nice gold ink. Absolutely beautiful. I mean, I think this fits perfectly. Now I'm just gonna glue a little bit of that rolled edge so that way it doesn't move, especially during your handwriting process. You know, you want it to kind of remain the same. So I like to glue those down. Now I am also going to come back in with some gold foil and add a little bit of gold foil to this because it does need it. I'm also going to add in some ephemera, and that's going to be in the upper portion of the card. And I think this map is actually pretty lovely, and you can see here you have some space to write. You have everything you could really want, but yet it looks beautiful with this. So just a little bit of gold foil here and there, I think. So after adding in a couple of items here, and once I started setting down the gold foil, I found that I had these stamps that I actually wanted to use and make it a part of this, and I figured out, hey, this is the perfect place to use it. So here is the card all finished out. Look at how beautiful this is. And then have a look here, this little metal medallion. Look at how well that acrylic glue just held on to that. The flowers are set in place very well. The ribbon is held very well. You have all this detail in the distress. You have the gold foil. It's absolutely lovely, and the colors just kind of match that blue, peach, kind of brownish color, gold, because when I think of Paris, well, I don't know why, but gold just kind of comes to mind, but it is a very good accent that kind of sets everything off. And then you open it up and you have all these little details inside. So if you're the person or the recipient of this card, look at how beautiful this is. This is more of a memento to keep. Thanks for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this tutorial. Go ahead and leave a comment below, and if you did like it, give it a thumbs up. Thanks for stopping by. We hope you come and join our challenge. Thanks for watching Heartcraftpaper. For more videos and tutorials like these, don't forget to subscribe. Visit the website at www.heartcraftpaper.com.